Hello, Matthew Donahue here. Just wanted to go ahead and record the video for this assignment, building cultural competence in the classroom. So let's dive right in. Okay. So, what is cultural competence? Well, it means being able to teach and interact in ways that you acknowledge and respect students' diverse cultural identities. As our classrooms start to get a lot more diverse, if they aren't already, it's essential that we not only acknowledge the differences, but I think could use them as assets and strengths. It directly supports equity and engagement, and really helps narrow those opportunity gaps by making learning relevant and inclusive. So as you can see on the slide, it's valuing diversity by recognizing and respecting differences. Also practicing self-awareness by reflecting on our own cultural beliefs, or how to recognize an implicit bias that we may have, that we may not know we have, and then figure out, and how it can impact our teaching. Also being responsive by adapting instruction and classroom practices so we can meet those the needs of cultural need and linguistic needs of those students. And also, it creates that foundation for inclusion by helping kind of establish that safe and equitable environment for all the students. And why does this matter? Well, culturally competent teachers, really the goal is to build trust. We're less likely to discipline unfairly or make assumptions based on race or class. As I noted, excuse me, in my project Implicit Reflection, even unintentional biases can shape how we treat students. So recognizing and challenging these biases is really the first step to equitable education. So it matters because it promotes equity in education. It really helps teachers recognize and address those systemic inequities and implicit biases that can have a negative impact on how the student performs. It also kind of helps ensure that instruction and materials and assessments are fair and also accessible to all students. Or when it comes to improves student engagement and achievement. So when students see their cultures and identities reflected in the curriculum, they feel kind of a stronger sense of belonging, and they want to engage, and it boosts motivation, and it also helps increase academic performance. Also build stronger teacher-student relationships. Educators who are culturally competent tend to build trust with students because we're showing respect for their lived experiences. And these relationships are crucial for effective teaching. And they're also very crucial for student well-being as well. Let's see, encourages critical thinking and global awareness. So exposure to diverse perspectives, it's going to help all students think critically and challenge stereotypes, but most importantly, it's going to help them develop empathy. And this will prepare them to thrive in a multicultural society as they leave high school and kind of join the workforce and join the world. A couple strategies. From my classroom experience, I've seen really how using different modes of instruction, such as videos, YouTube clip, tech tools, using their phones to do learning stations and scan QR codes or visuals. These can really all help the students across or access all the content. For example, one of my students from Russia who is a refugee, and she has been benefiting from using a translator app during assessments. It allows her to really stay engaged and not feel alienated. So as you can see, I have differentiated instruction, so it tailors teaching to the students' readiness and their interests and cultural backgrounds. It also validates their identity because it allows the assignments to be flexible. Also, it promotes equity because by adapting materials to student needs so that we can meet the students where they are, not only culturally but cognitively. And then for multimodal instruction, it engages learners through visuals and audio and text, such as the speech to text or the translators, which can help bridge language and cultural gaps and so forth. It also empowers students to express themselves, in diverse formats, whether it's through a propaganda poster or a skit like I had them do where we did a news broadcast. They were live on scene for peaceful protest through the civil rights movement. So that was a fun one. Strategy two, so culturally sustaining pedagogy. So CSP really goes beyond just celebrating diversity. It actually means incorporating it and the students' lived experiences into the lessons. So whether that's through projects like a My Story digital narrative, or through cultural heritage discussions that we can have in classroom, or when students, because when students see themselves reflected in the content, they tend to stay, more engaged and also engaged on a deeper level. They feel seen, they feel valued, they feel empowered, and it really makes learning more inclusive and equitable. So at Thunderbridge High School, my classroom is mostly white, but cultural competence is still crucial. So I've implemented things in a couple scenarios for my classroom, like we did monthly culture highlights where we had discussions based off of the content, and I had a variety of students kind of give their perspective, so that the whole class can see where they're coming from. We also do things such as debates on diverse historical perspectives, like the Chicano walkouts. In that way, we're really kind of hitting that underrepresented voices throughout history. Or we did student-led reflections linked to things such as heritage, like the Navajo Code Talkers, and how they were a big part in the Pacific Theater portion of how we won World War II in the Pacific Theater. So we're going to do a quick turn and talk. So I want you to turn to the person next to you, and think about your own learning and teaching experiences, and and just ask the person next to you, and then I really want you to listen to them, and then reflect on how what they say, and how it can really influence you in your classroom. First question is, what is the one way your background or identity has shaped how you learn or teach? And then number two, how can we ensure that all students feel heard and seen? So take a moment. And you can push pause if necessary. So for my next steps, for myself personally, so as I've talked about in a previous module, I have been keeping a reflective journal. So I've been journaling and having conversations with my mentor about what I've been journaling, just to kind of track any interactions that I feel where maybe I had some sort of implicit bias, and that way I can kind of self-reflect, talk about with my mentor, whether it's really happened or maybe I'm just overthinking. But also I really want to advocate for diverse curriculum content, and I also want to keep, up with my professional learning, attending workshops, having conversations with admin and colleagues, and also keep studying and reading up so that I can too can always be evolving. I want to collaborate with diverse colleagues, and most importantly, I want to listen to the students, and I really want to listen to the families, because I really want to understand the community in which the students go to and thrive in once they leave my classroom. So final thoughts, really becoming a culturally competent educator, it doesn't happen overnight. But through honest reflection, collaboration, and really just the ongoing education, I feel like that it can help me build and empower all my students and really build that safe and equitable classroom that I'm striving for. I want to thank you for your time, and I'll be talking to you soon.